Alrighty, y'all. Week 3 on the carnivore diet is in the books, and I have been feeling good. I have been sticking with it, and I'm not even eyeballing all the chips in the pantry right now. So that's a win. But let's be real. You guys, the food, that's the easy part. I can throw a steak in an air fryer and call it a day. The real challenge, I think, is everything else that comes with living in a carb obsessed world. So today, I'm not going to sit here and give you another this is how much better I feel video update because I actually did that in my week 3 check in. So today, we're going to talk about all the ways that carnivore would be so much easier if the universe would just cooperate. Because honestly, some of the stuff is not about willpower. It's about surviving pizza commercials and Costco samples and my own family trying to sabotage me. So, welcome back to the channel, or welcome if you are new here. My name is Kat, and this is Slightly Feral Living. Used to be Meat Fueled Living, if that's how you had actually found me before. And today we are going to talk about all the ways that carnivore would be so much easier if. And the first one being carnivore would be easier if my family would stop sabotaging me daily. If they didn't eat pizza right in front of me like they're auditioning for a pizza commercial, I'll be sitting there eating my ribeye, minding my own business, and mind you, my ribeye, delicious. It is. But they're over there pulling apart cheesy slices in like slow motion commercial footage. It's like watching a Hallmark movie about carbs. Ugh. And breadsticks? Don't get me started on breadsticks. I swear that is their favorite weapon of sabotage. And meanwhile, I'm over here hugging my steak and electrolytes like it's a life raft. But the thing is, they don't mean to be mean about it. They're just living their normal carb lives. But when you're 3 weeks into carnivore, a breadstick smells like betrayal, I swear. I have to laugh about it because otherwise I'd probably be flipping my wig, seriously. But the thing about it is I do know that the longer I stay on it, those things will no longer become such hard things for me to navigate. At one point, I'll be looking at the pizza and saying, I don't even want that. But I'm not there right now. I'm not having the debilitating cravings that like have me searching in the pantry, but what I am having is a hard time when it's sitting there right in front of me. So, yes, carnivore would be easier if I didn't have to deal with that on a regular basis. Number 2, carnivore would be easier if grocery stores weren't booby trapped. Going to Costco should be simple. I'll go in, I grab my meat, and I leave. But no, you've got samples around every corner, muffins, crackers, random dips, and it's always right in front of me in the meat section. Have you ever noticed that? It seems like it's always right there. Some sweet grandma with a tray is like, do you want to try a brownie bite? And I'm over here like, Gladys, no, not today. Show me the ribeye samples and we can talk. But have you ever noticed that you never see that kind of stuff? And I know why. It's marketing. They're trying to get this thing out. I know why it is, but it's really can be hard navigating that sometimes, especially if you're hungry. So don't ever go when you're hungry. And then don't even get me started on the bakery sections of stores. The smell, ooh, it's pure evil. They pump it into the air like a trap, I swear. You can't tell me they're not doing that on purpose. The sign right there should literally say warning carb cloud ahead. Meanwhile, I'm trying to haul 40 pounds of ground beef out like some feral cave woman just to make it back to the car without collapsing into a pile of cinnamon rolls because they were making cinnamon rolls the last time I was there and they smell divine, you guys. Again, I do know that at some point this is not going to become a problem with me or for me. I know one of the first times I went shopping after starting the carnivore diet years ago, the first time I was in, I think it was in Sam's Club, and I went through that candy aisle, you know, where all the candies and the snacks and stuff are, and I could smell the chocolate. And I was a huge, huge sweet addict. I almost had a meltdown then and there. I mean, it was so hard for me at the time. That is one thing that I'm not having any issues with. I had no interest in stopping in the candy aisle at all. As a matter of fact, one of the candies that I used to love the most, like Hershey's chocolate, I can't stand the taste of it now. So that's good. But keeping this moving along, carnivore would be a lot easier, I think, if restaurants knew what just meat meant. Ordering at restaurants can sometimes be a nightmare, and it's not all restaurants, and some of them are really accommodating. But oftentimes, when I say, "Can I just get the meat plain?" somehow it always turns into, "Do you want breaded chicken? Do you want it covered in sauce? What about a sprig of parsley?" Like, no, no, I don't want any glaze. I don't want any garnish. I don't want it resting on a bed of rice. Just put the meat on a plate and send it out. And sometimes that can be hard. One time I asked for a steak with no sides, and the waitress looked at me like I had insulted her grandma. Like, she was like, "You don't want the mashed potatoes? You don't want the fries?" And I'm like, "No, no, I don't. I just want the steak." And she just kind of blinked at me. Why is just meat such a foreign concept? And again, I'm going to caveat that by saying it's not everywhere, it's just some places, especially places that I don't frequent very often, and maybe they don't know me, or I don't know them, or I don't know what they can and can't do. So that can sometimes make the carnivore diet very hard. Sometimes when you're traveling or, doing stuff with family, you can't help that. Moving right along, carnivore would be a lot easier, I think, if lamb fat didn't make my house smell so bad. And that's the funny thing. I love lamb, you guys, but ribeye, it smells perfect when you're cooking it. I don't really cook fish in the house very often, but salmon baked in the oven can smell very delicious. And pork belly, it smells so good. But why does lamb smell so funny? It tastes great, but it makes my whole house sometimes smell like I'm raising livestock indoors. That's one of the reasons why I started ordering from Billy Doe Meats, because they are domesticated lamb, and for some reason that doesn't smell or taste the same as the New Zealand lamb, which, by the way, is delicious. And I love lamb. I eat it and I'm happy. But for the next couple days, my house smells like the county fair, and I don't know how to describe that. It just has a smell that I don't love. That is, I would eat a whole lot more lamb because I actually really do like it, but I don't like the way it makes my kitchen smell. And I don't know, maybe nobody else has that problem. Maybe some people think that lamb smells amazing. And again, if I order it from Billy Doe Meat, I really don't have as much of an issue. Now, real quick, not sponsored by Billy Doe. I don't get anything from them, but I do have a code that is in my show notes if you're interested in getting, I do believe it is a certain percentage off. You can check it out in my show notes if you do want to try them out. Like I said, they have a lot of stuff. Their beef bacon is the best beef bacon I've ever had. It's like pork belly, but in the beef. I don't know how to describe it. It always sells out. It's so delicious. And their lamb, like I said, is domestically raised, and for some reason, it doesn't have that gamey taste, and it also doesn't have the same smell. If you know, you know. If you don't, and you think I'm cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, just ignore this one. Number five, I think that carnivore would be a lot easier if social media wasn't full of all these health experts. Every time I post something on the carnivore diet, there's always that one person in the comments, and you know who I mean. You're going to get scurvy. You're clogging your arteries. And meanwhile, they've got a Frappuccino in one hand and a blueberry muffin in the other. Like, Susan, seriously, thank you for your medical degree from Google. But meanwhile, I'm over here actually feeling better than I did when I was forcing myself to choke down kale smoothies. So but sure, you guys, let's worry about me eating a ribeye steak. But that's not even all of it. There are an actual lot of health experts out there, doctors that I follow, and they put out amazing stuff, really great information, but these are not the ones that I'm referring to. I'm referring to the armchair doctors. Sometimes that makes it very, very frustrating because you're over here just trying to navigate this world, and you got somebody putting out all of this unsolicited, I guess. Maybe you can't say unsolicited information if you're putting out everything on the internet, but that's just in my case. The average person doing the carnivore diet probably doesn't need to know your opinion on whether or not you're not getting enough vitamin C or whatever. But, anyways, I digress. I'm not going to keep going on that one. Let's be real, carnivore would be 1,000 times easier if ribeye wasn't the Gucci handbag of meat. You know what I'm saying? Like, why is steak priced like I need to take out a loan to enjoy it? I literally just spent over $100 on a rib roast so I could cut it up in steaks. It hurt me to my soul. But could you imagine, you guys, if steak grew on trees, like have a little backyard orchard of ribeyes just swaying in the breeze? Oh, my freezer would look like a crime scene. Anyways, my bank account is sitting over in the corner right now, rocking back and forth, crying because it can be expensive. I'm definitely not spending as much money on snacks and junk food and things like that. But man, wouldn't it be nice to have a free ribeye steak? And that was just kind of like a fun throw in there. I mean, come on, we all know that was just me being silly. But number 7, I think the carnivore diet would be a lot easier if cravings made more sense. I thought that I would be craving cookies or chips or ice cream, but no. 3 weeks in my brain, it was actually thinking about, man, do you remember chewing gum? Don't we miss chewing gum? And it's not even the flavor, it was that act of chewing. I always had gum in my mouth. And what kind of craving is that, you guys? I mean, apparently my subconscious just likes to be dramatic or something. I don't know. I'm not missing the salads, and I can't lie, I do miss bread still, but gum? Gosh, my brain. I mean, the other day I was standing in line at Walmart and the gum was right there. And I swear to God, my brain was acting like it was my first love gone missing. I don't know. It was weird. It was a weird craving and it had made no sense whatsoever. Number 8, I think carnivore would be a lot easier if people stopped inviting me to their potlucks. Potlucks are basically the ninth circle of carb hell, you guys. Pasta salad, brownies, casseroles, carbs everywhere. The only meat is usually a lonely meatball drowning in barbecue sauce. And I'm the weirdo over here sneaking bacon in my purse. You know what I mean? So do you know how Pharaoh, you see him pulling out a Tupperware dish out at like a church potluck and everyone else is double fisting their mac and cheese? Like, don't mind me, I'm just over here with my cow patties. I mean, not really. That sounded weird. But you know what I'm saying? Like sometimes social things can be social things can be a real dilemma. Number 9, we're almost done, you guys. This is just me being silly, but number 9, carnivore would be a lot easier if my kitchen cleaned itself. Cooking meat is easy, cleaning up after the meat is not. I swear to you, bacon grease splatters like it's out for blood. Eggs weld themselves to pans like they've signed a lease sometimes, and my cast iron skillet is basically my best friend and my worst enemy. Carnivore would be a lot easier if the skillets washed themselves. Honestly, my sponge deserves combat pay sometimes. I know. And my sink has seen things that I can't unsee. There's always blood or something in it, you know. But and then I'm just being a little bit silly. And actually, my cast iron skillet cleans up very, very easily. But I do make a big mess in my kitchen. I have one of those is it like a fry daddy? And I think this sounds like I'm like peddling all kinds of stuff. I think I have a link for it in my Amazon store, like those silicone. They look like Elizabethan collars that you can put on your animals, but you can put it in your pans. Those work really, really great. Those are actually been a lifesaver. But I have made a major mess in my kitchen cooking before. Really. I think that's probably why I so often opt for throwing a steak in the air fryer. It's just so easy. It's easy to clean. Could be. But yeah, it would definitely be a lot easier if I didn't have to do all that cleanup. And finally, number 10 on my silly little 10 things that it would be easier, carnivore would be easier if, is carnivore would be easier if carbs were not shoved in my face constantly. I know I kind of touched on this with the Costco and then my family, but the world is obsessed with carbs. I can't watch TV without being ambushed by pizza commercials. Every holiday, every ad, every football game, it's bread, it's chips, it's fries, it's pasta, it's everywhere. It's like the whole world is one giant Olive Garden, and I'm over here still trying to gnaw on my steak like a cave woman. I keep saying that because that's what people always call carnivore, like cavemen. But look, you guys, I chose this lifestyle. I love it, but the constant carb parade that can sometimes be very difficult. I'm very excited about the time where those things will no longer bother me, but I'm still not quite there yet. So, anyways, there we go. 3 weeks in, carnivore is still working for me. I am still sticking with it, and I'm not running back to kale anytime soon or at all, honestly. But let's not pretend that it's all perfect all the time. It would be a heck of a lot easier if my family wasn't waving that pizza in my face, if sometimes some cuts of meat didn't make my kitchen smell so weird, if ribeye was free, and if potlucks weren't just carb conventions. But until then, I'll keep doing what I do, living slightly feral, eating my steak, and laughing my way through it. So, week 4 check in is coming really soon, like really, really soon. So, hit that subscribe button if you want more slightly feral living chaos. And until we talk again, stay feral.